So hi, and thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to give an update on my trading challenge. So it is the end of April and I have the stats for how my portfolio is doing. And at the end of each month, I'm going to do a monthly sort of recap on some of the trades that I made and what the portfolio is looking like. So my name is Tyler Stokes from StokesTrades.com. I am on a journey to become a full-time trader. We have a trading challenge that I started when I started trading real money in April 2025, and I'm documenting the whole thing. Now, if you're not a member of our Skool Group, we have a day trading for beginners Skool Group. There's quite a few members now. People are sharing what they're learning. They're staying accountable to the group. I'm posting a lot about my strategy here in the group, and in our classroom section under the trading challenge, I've actually been posting details on all the trades that I am making. So if you want more details on all of the specific trades and some more discussions about strategy, then you can certainly head over to the Skool Group. It's absolutely free and you can join that. So for this monthly recap, basically what I wanted to do is give a rundown on what the portfolio is looking like and some of the stats regarding this. Now, as always, this is not financial advice. I'm a beginner trader. I am using a momentum strategy as well. So this is not day trading. I've talked about that in some previous podcasts and posts. Day trading just doesn't work right now for my personal schedule. So this is more of a momentum strategy, buying into some stocks, accumulating stocks at good support zones, and then riding the momentum up. So right now we've got a lot of focus on the crypto sort of space and some stocks regarding that. So the closing prices are here for the data on the end of this month or for April 30th. Now I had a 27% cash position at the end of this month, and I actually made 20% of my buys were on April 30th. So a lot of these stocks that I purchased just haven't had enough time to see some gains. For the details here, the allocation percentages here, they are just approximations. They're not exact. However, the prices of my entries and the closing prices are. So before we jump over to TradingView and actually look and analyze a few of the stocks that I purchased and why I did, let's just run through the data here before we jump over. So the portfolio gains as of the end of April was 3.58%. And again, that is just approximate. So what I mean by that is that the note on allocation percentages, the percentages that I'm going to share are just approximation. So for example purposes, if I had an account with a starting balance of say $50,000, then $500 would be a 1% entry. So if I were to have spent about $450, I would just round that up to a 1% entry. So the reason I'm not sharing the exact figures is that this account, I've got other funds in it, and the starting balance was in an account with other funds. So I'm just doing that for just keeping things simple. So again, this strategy calls for entries of 1 to 3% usually. So some of my buys are around 1%, 3%. And again, they aren't perfect figures, but the prices are. So a 3.5% gain for this month. And again, I took most of April to allocate that 73%. I still got a 27% cash balance, and I bought many stocks at the end of April, and I'll show you why. So 20% I allocated at the end of April. So many positions really haven't had a lot of time to grow. And part of this challenge is sort of comparing, if I were to just take my lump sum and just bought Tesla at April 7th when I started this challenge, can I beat it by the end of the year? And obviously Tesla has run up great in April. It made a 26% gain in this time from April 7th to April 30th. So my portfolio certainly did not do that, but there's still a lot of time left, and we'll see how it goes comparing my gains to just buying Tesla. That's sort of what this challenge was about. So the portfolio gains, this is a total percentage increase of the portfolio's value from the starting capital to the current value. So it accounts for the performance of all the investments and then the cash portion weighted by their allocation. So that's probably the best guide that I'll be sharing, but there are other ways to calculate some returns as well. There's a simple average return where this is the average gain of all my stocks, where each stock counts equally, no matter how much I invested in it. So it just shows how individual stock choices performed on average. So I'll be sharing that as well. And that was 3.4% for this month. And then there's a weighted average return. So it takes into account the percentage of allocation for certain stocks, and that was 3.7%. So simple average kind of can show you how well your stocks are picking, but the overall percentage, I think, is going to be the main one that I'll be sharing the most, or focal point, because that takes into account, I've got a bit of a cash position still that didn't produce any gains, obviously, and that is the one that we will focus on. So let's just look at a few of the stocks here that I made purchases of. So I have a 10% position in Tesla, and that's going to be the max for this trading challenge. I won't want to accumulate more than about 10% in one holding. Now, obviously, if this gains value and it makes up a bigger than 10% balance, I'm not going to rebalance and sell any shares for that reason. But just my initial buys aren't going to be more than 10%. So I allocated 10%, and my average cost in Tesla was $244. So that's done well this month, a 15.5% gain. If we jump over to TradingView, I'll just tell you why I did that. And again, I explain more in our Skool Group, but we can see here the weekly chart for Tesla. And I was thinking that the 250 zone was a really strong area of support. We had the 200 week moving average here. So this is a weekly chart. So these candlesticks are weeks. We had the 100 week moving average right in that 250 zone. We had a fib level down there. We've got some Gann lines as well that shape up to show support right in that area. So I was happy to get my 10% in that area during the month of April. And then you can see here the last week of April, Tesla had an 18% week. So it had a bullish engulfing candle through all those moving averages, through the Gann lines, through the Ichimoku cloud and the 50-week moving average there. And then the next subsequent week did a nice back test perfectly to that fib. So this is a breakout back test. So I invested here. If I had more funds, I would have bought this back test as well. And again, we talk a little bit more about strategy in the Skool Group. So that is a nice breakout back test. And I got all my 10% in at 250. So I was happy with that. Other stocks, SoFi, that was made on April 30th. So it hardly moved up a lot. Google, Amazon, these stocks were all bought on April 30th. And the reason why, I'll just show you the Google chart. They all sort of look the same. Basically, what we have here, if we look at the 4-hour Google chart, we can see that many of these stocks did a breakout on the 4-hour chart through the 200 moving average and then back tested some support levels. So back tested the 50 and the 100 there. And I got, I think, most of my buys in right around 160. And if we look at Google's weekly chart, we can see that Google also had a bullish engulfing candle at the end of April. So it broke through the moving average there into the Ichimoku cloud. And then the next week did a back test. So I put a limit order in at around 160. And I think I put another order in at around 157. So my average there is, about 159. And at the time of recording this, Google's up a little bit as well. So these other stocks also did a breakout back test. Many of them did that at the end of April, and that is why I decided to make quite a few purchases on that last day. When you look at Oscar Health, also did a breakout back test of the conversion line there. Roadblocks did similar, a breakout through the 200 moving average and then back tested the baseline there. And I believe on their weekly chart, they back tested a fib level really well, right there around 21.34. And I think my average was around 21.36. Yeah, so many of those stocks were bought at the end of the day. So there's not a lot of gains yet, but hopefully that breakout back test, we experienced some good gains in that regard. Coin is another stock that I have a 10% allocation in with a price of 191. So I'm pretty happy about that. We can look at the coin chart here. Also, 2 bullish engulfing candles at the end of or during April. So the last week in April here, we can see a bullish engulfing candle through a moving average, through the Ichimoku cloud, through the conversion line. And then the next week did a nice back test, 197. So I made some orders there. And I was actually buying this on the 4-hour chart back in the 170s, showing some good support here right at the top of the Ichimoku cloud. And then boom, it broke out to past the 200. And then I put some other orders in right around 202 in this particular area. So the theme of my buying was buying at support, and then the breakout backtest that we experienced at the end of April is where I allocated a lot of funds to some of these other names. Hood, that's another stock I would like to get close to 10%. And my entry is 46. And I believe this week it might retrace back a little bit. So anything else in the 46 or 45, I'm going to be accumulating more. And then MicroStrategy, also I've got a low percentage there. I'm looking to enter more. Bitcoin has been doing really well. Bitcoin hasn't really let up. I was hoping it was going to do a back test where I can make an entry, but it just keeps going. So I'll have to kind of see with this strategy. I certainly don't want to chase. I want to just make entries at support during a back test. But this might be a little difficult with MicroStrategy moving up and up. The other type of stocks I have are Bitcoin miners. I have about 25% allocated there. I don't know if I'm going to invest any more. These are very volatile names, but many of them are experiencing good gains for me. They don't look good at the time of recording this because I purchased many of them during a breakout backtest on the 4-hour chart. So Hive, at the time of recording this, you can see the green here. I'm May 2nd here. So in the early morning. So May, we've got a 4% and 9% jump, 7%, 5%, 6% in some of these, but April 30th, when I purchased them, they certainly didn't. Mara is a good example. Broke through the 200-week moving average and then did a back test. And I think my average is right around here where it back tested the 50 and the 200. So if we look at Mara here, I believe, my average is 1348. And now Mara currently was up 5% on May 1st. So the breakout back test. So a lot of my allocation is in stocks. 20% is in stocks right around the 20%, the low here. So that's why those gains aren't showing yet. But hopefully that breakout back test is going to lead to some gains up and to the right as we continue the month of May. So the Bitcoin miners, many of them have the charts have been quite beat up, but that is a good sign now that Bitcoin is on the rise. Many of these stocks, I believe, have room to run. So Hive is just one example. Had a double bottom here. I made some entries there, and now it's moving up quite a bit. Cypher is another one where I made most of my entries in the mid twos, around $2. I bought around this fib and maybe a little bit more, and now it's gone up to $3. And basically, a lot of these are volatile names, but they've got a lot of room to come back up to some of their all-time highs. And with Bitcoin doing quite well, I believe the risk-reward ratio is good for these particular stocks, and that is why I had purchased them. And then the other stocks I bought were some stocks that looked to have bottomed. Some of these were biotech stocks and other types of stocks. So one particular one that's doing quite well right now is INZY. And you can kind of see if we zoom out a little bit and just take off some of these indicators, we can see these bottoming stocks are stocks that have fallen down to the negative 0.618, hit it as support and seem to be coming back right now. So my entry here was around $1. It's up to $1.20, so a good 20% gain, I believe, right now. Not at the end of April, but now May had a good May 1st had a good day, and we can see that an entry around here, even at making it back up to the 0 mark through these negative fibs, you're looking at a couple 100% gain. So a little bit more risky. And I've made some allocations there, and I don't think I'll be making any more, but I've got a few stocks in this area, and I'll be maybe looking to add more, but maybe not, a little bit more risky. So in terms of trading, this strategy calls for accumulating stocks at support zones, and then I will be potentially trading at resistance zones. So if this stock comes up to the 0.27, that could be a resistance zone where I might want to take some profits, but riding the momentum with the strategy is ideal. Trading in and out, like Tesla, I don't think I'll be trading in and out because you never know when you trade in or you trade out, you sell at resistance with some stocks like Tesla, and they don't respect that resistance zone and they just blast through it, then you're left sort of chasing. So I will be trading a little bit, but it's more about accumulating in these low support zone and then riding the momentum out, and then trading and taking profits when there are clearer signs that these stocks are losing their momentum, and we could shift to some other type of market or industry. So right now, I'm going to be heavily weighted in crypto because crypto looks like it is entering a cycle where we could see some really good gains. And that's what this strategy sort of focuses on. So that's the end of April. The portfolio doesn't look great, but already in May, I believe this is up to over 5% for 1 month, which is good. You compound that over the year, and it could do really well. And again, we're going to see how well it does compared to Tesla. I predicted that I would not be able to do as well as Tesla given what they have coming up in the summer and later this year with their full self-driving, their robo-taxis, and their Optimus robots. I believe that's going to do really well for the stock. But this strategy calls for allocating a max 10%, being a bit more diversified and less risky in that regard. So we'll see how things go, and I will update you in the next video at the end of May.